think we should start with the most important emotional question.
Okay.
I'm actually getting worried for you.
You don't know the half of it.
Hey, boys and girls, welcome back to Midgame Life Crisis! I'm Werewolf.
I'm Inconsistency. So guys, today we want to talk to you about how size doesn't always matter, alright?
You can just throw out your rulers.
Yeah, ain't no need for all that package.
Damn! He's got a huge package.
Aight? And sometimes good things can come in small packages, this is true. Both in life, but mostly in Avowed, at least how we think it is. From what we've seen, all the footage, and there's quite a lot of it, of the game. You can find uninterrupted, unedited footage. You can also see highly edited trailers of the game. But it looks good to us, right?
Oh yeah.
And the fact that it comes from Obsidian and the history of this company and their experience with both big and small scale games, we're optimistic about it.
Obsidian, they've made games that are both RPGs and not RPGs.
Right.
They've made small scale, large scale, open world. Basically, they've been all around.
Yep.
So one thing that always comes back in all their games and stands out is the writing
Yep.
and attention to details.
Yep.
So, guys, tell us, what's your favorite Obsidian game? It's New Vegas, isn't it, right?
Yeah, New Vegas is considered a classic for sure, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
Kotar 2 probably is one of my personal favorites. And New Vegas, of course.
Yeah,
But yeah, they made a lot of classics back in the day.
yeah.
The more recent games, I haven't connected too much to, I'll be honest. I didn't play Pillars. I did play Outer Worlds.
Yep.
And I enjoyed it for what it is, but I couldn't bring myself to finish it. I got bored about halfway through. But it still had all those same hallmarks of Obsidian, which is good writing, sarcastic humor, right? And it's basically looks like an offshoot of Fallout. Like the game reminds us a lot of Fallout, but also you could say that Skyrim for sure inspired a lot of what we can see with Avowed.
Yeah, those are very different games in the end.
Very different, but you can understand why people make those.
Yeah, those comparisons.
Yes.
Let's see where these games differ greatly. Yeah.
Yes.
So first off the bat, this thing looks immersive as fuck.
Yeah.
You can see that it's not a huge scale world.
No.
There's no empty environments of just nice sprawling views.
This is it by design.
Yeah, but you can see that everything is handcrafted.
Yep.
And well thought. Like everything in the background, everything is designed by hand. And because they are trying to do everything in small scale, they use a lot of verticality, both in combat scenarios and when in exploration.
Yep.
Suddenly you dive into this underwater cave, or you climb some tower or whatever, and this can help make small spaces feel larger, basically.
Yep. Smart design choices, that basically use the whole environment, even a relatively small space to compare to a game like Skyrim, let's say. If you use it correctly, you can feel it, you can make it more dense and make it feel more alive. And yeah, you'll have less dead moments or less boring moments of trying to reach the destination without anything going on, right? Other than you walking or running or riding a mount or whatever. In this game, there's just, because it's a smaller scale world and much more dense with events and random NPCs and stuff like that.
Yep.
Exploration is still extremely encouraged by the game design from everything we've seen.
And rewarded.
And extremely rewarded. But also you don't have to walk for like half an hour to reach that destination. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or climb for an hour and a half.
Yeah, when you open the map, you don't get that the open world fatigue, like the stress of like Ubisoft open world maps. When you open, you see all those icons of all the stuff you have to do, and you have that for at least for our old asses, okay, for our age group, we just get tired from watching that. It's a fatigue. It makes you feel stressful. It feels like a job.
Exactly, it stops being a game.
Yes, it feels like your OCD takes over, your gamer brain OCD takes over. You feel like you have to go visit every fucking marker on the goddamn map, and then you realize, nah, man, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. I've done it so many times before in so many games. It's just the same.
Even Witcher 3 had that flaw.
Yeah, for a way. Yeah, in a way it did. But it overcame that by making most of the stuff you did there very interesting. Most of the side quests
were amazing, yeah.
Yes, if you want to talk about attention to detail, the game, The Witcher is one of those games that is a mastercraft of like attention to detail and like, yeah, that game, yeah, it's a masterpiece. But that game is not our subject today. Avowed is.
One of the things that is spoken in favor of large-scale worlds is that when you want to replay the game, when you want to try it in a different character or try to do something else, be evil or... Then, if it's a small environment, everything feels the same. Like you see the same views. When it's a giant, huge-scale world, you can say, okay, I played in this region last time, let's go this time to this other region where I've less traveled and been around. But here in Avowed, what they are doing is because they are taking advantage of the fact that this world has already been set out for them.
Right.
They've used it in pillars.
Yes.
And they allow you to dive into the rich history and into the characters, both in good companions and interesting camp mechanics. And all of these are optionals. Like if your thing is just to go through the combat and see the main story, that's completely fine and you can do that. But if you want to stop and talk to the people you see on the way or with your companions in the camp, and small things in the environment are written well so that you really have agency.
Right.
And your actions and decisions actually change something in the world. Replayability becomes something you can consider even in the smaller scale, because things will look different because your choices actually change what is going on around.
Obsidian are good about, were always good in their past games, especially the RPGs games, which is what their basically their expertise, you could say, is the writing and the dialogue choice. And the fact that your choices matter. And unlike the Veil Guard or the Fail Guard, the Baby Guard, in this game, right, you get at least 5 choices, unlike like 2-3 choices you get in Baby Guard. and like the choice is actually, when you press on the button, it actually says pretty much what the same things that are written, and not something completely different. And you can
and it doesn't describe above it what is going to happen.
Yeah, and because this world is so small scale, well, comparably, right? This is supposedly from what the research we've done, it's supposedly about 40 hours game.
That's what the developers say.
Yeah, they say from 13 to 40 hours if you do everything around, all the side quests and all stuff, and if you just rush the main quest, they said it's about 13 hours. So this is comparable to the RPG genre, which usually has I think the RPG genre is usually known to be pretty vast and big games that take a lot of time. So this is comparable to that. It's pretty small scale. And again, this is 100% by design. It's something that actually makes this game more unique, because that there's a lot more attention to detail, and it's maybe the replayability is much better, hopefully, because that gives the game a lot more length, basically. If you finish it and you immediately want to see how you can play it in a whole different way and make completely different choices and see what happens.
They're not going for length, they're going for depth.
Yeah, exactly. They're not, exactly, bro. Exactly. And this isn't even though this isn't a pinless enlargement ad, size doesn't always matter, man. Even not in RPG games. It's how you do it, man, and how do you make the world feel. A game can be ambitious, very ambitious, and still be small scale, right? It doesn't have to be. A lot of games are very big in their scale, but have no ambition at all in them. They're just soulless and just... And
then you get all these fetch and deliver quests, and all these repeatable tasks that are so boring.
Yeah. Look at Diablo 4, bro. Diablo 4 is basically an ARPG with an open world, right? A live service open world, yay.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't touch that game with a laser pointer.
Yeah. Well, I touched it a lot, and I'm not proud of it, okay? But I did, and got boring very, very fast, because you can, very, very fast, after you finish the campaign, basically, and you go into the end game, so-called, which is basically the main game, everything becomes soulless and empty very fast. very fast compared to the other games. You can see you can literally see the pattern of the loot, the grind loot that they want you to do.
You can see the grid.
Yes, you can see the retention rates. You can see the retention rate they want to show the next quarterly meeting with the fucking investors.
Investors, yeah.
Yes, that's all that matters in that game, bro. Anyways, moving on.
So combat, at first glance, you're thinking Skyrim.
which is not
No, that's not a compliment.
That's not a compliment. And we love Skyrim. Well, you love Skyrim.
I love Skyrim.
Yeah, I like it. I don't love it. But
but look, I can tell you that the combat is a weak point of Skyrim.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, it's janky as fuck.
And it was a weak point of their previous RPG game, Outer Worlds.
Yeah, that also was one of the weak points in the game.
In my opinion.
But it wasn't as bad as Skyrim.
No, it's
it's more of a first person. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's more a first-person shooter than a fantasy, so it's different. But still,
not that the Fallout combat is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. That's also true. But you do have the fact that you can detach limbs and stuff like that makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah, they have their things, VATS and whatever.
Yeah,
doesn't matter. What we're talking about here is Avowed.
Yes.
And Avowed combat is really, when you look at it, the details don't look like Skyrim at all. First of all, it feels much more fluid. Skyrim is very floaty. The melee combat really does seem much more satisfying.
It's a lot faster. Seems faster paced.
Yeah,
your character feels a lot more agile than any of those clunky movement in Skyrim games, right?
Yep. I mean, you move fast around, you have dodge mechanics, the same as you had in Outer Worlds. And these kind of things don't work in Skyrim because you'd get stuck in the environment in something on the way. But in this game, they seems to have keeping that in mind.
Yeah.
The devs also have a quote somewhere that says that they actually paid attention to these things. So it does seem like combat is a very fluid and fast-paced thing. You move around. The enemies seem to rush you. They don't take their time. In Skyrim, they like move from foot to foot and they'll stay like in the same place for like a minute until you decide what you do with them, if you can aim your bow. And here you look at the combat and you got like 6 skeletons jumping over you and you don't even have room to breathe. You have to use, if you arrange combat, you have to use like immobilizing magic or whatever just to keep them off for a second.
Yeah, right. It seems faster paced, but it doesn't seem to lack depth, right? Because it seems that you can like combine a lot of abilities. You can play like a mobile range character, very agile. You can stealth around, use spells to stealth around. You can use the environment to stealth around. Then when you start fighting, basically you can, again, you combine both spells and weapons together, which is very something that is very typical for RPG games. But here, it seems more faster paced, more combat oriented. It's very, very different than what we usually see them do in previous games, I gotta say.
It's not that typical, because in many of these RPGs, the trees are, you can't move around. Like, you have to invest in the earlier skills to get the later skills.
Right.
So if you want to be warrior, you have to invest in the warrior tree.
Right.
And in this one, as I understood, you can freely mix and match. It's by tiers. Like, once you unlock the next tier, you don't have to stay in your warrior tree. You can take from any class.
Yeah.
So you can build your character any way you want.
Yeah, the combat design seems to encourage a lot of build experimentation and mixing.
Which is great.
Yes, it's very good, and mixing things up. But yeah, even though Obsidian are not known for being great in combat, okay? It's not their strong point in any of their games, I don't think.
No.
But in this game, it seems like they put a special attention to it. I don't think it looks perfect. I think we'll get to the minuses in a moment. There are some stuff that bother me, but overall, I think the combat looks pretty fucking good. And the animations, I think what makes it special is the animation. There's very subtle hand animations and weapon animations that you can see that make you feel a lot more. It feels more immersive, more realistic, like how the character jumps from a ledge to the ground. You can see
the falling mechanics.
Yeah, like if she's holding if he or she holding a book.
Yep.
You can see when she drops down, like wind going through the pages of the book.
Yeah.
It's such a subtle animation, but it makes it feel like you're actually dropping down. And you don't have that in every game.
And when she lands, there's that oomph with the hands moving.
Yes, exactly. You can see her balancing herself from the jump.
You can feel the change in momentum.
Right. Alright, so not everything about this game is perfect, my man. There are some red flags, if you will. Not big ones, in our opinion. The game itself, in my honest opinion, it looks like...
Things we noticed.
Yeah, but I will say the design itself, the art design, the dialogue, the voice acting, the choices, the combat, the environment, almost everything about this game looks very confidently made, very competently made. And yeah, and Obsidian has proven themselves as a very competent company in general. So
yeah, they have a good track record for this thing.
For sure. So we are overall happy and think it's going to be a good game.
I'm excited as fuck.
That being said,
yep. Well, you know, the art director
Matt Hansen.
Matt Hansen has been involved recently in some accusations of
disappointed.
Not things that look good, all right?
No.
And
no.
if he broke the law, he needs to feel the full extent of it. But as it pertains to us, this doesn't seem to affect the gameplay itself.
No.
The game looks good.
Listen, I don't care. Listen, brother. The difference is that these guys, they might be too vocal on the socials, if you will, as the kids call it today, right? And have share their, let's just call it what it is, dumbass opinions with everyone.
The world would be so much nicer if people just a slightly bit less. You know?
Yeah, it's like the actors talking like they know anything they're talking about in the Twitters, right?
Oh, they're experts of nothing.
Yeah. But my point is, he has a track record of very, very, very good games. He actually has talent. He's good at his job.
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever his political views and opinions are. We don't give a shit as long as he doesn't shove it down our throats. That's all there is to it. And we're hoping there's none of that shit in this game. Okay? We're hoping this game is from everything we've seen, this looks like a pure Obsidian game, which is very good. It's a good thing. You should be excited for it. We just hope none of the...
Yeah, I am excited for it.
I am excited as well. We wouldn't be doing this video if we wouldn't think this is going to be a great game. Or maybe an extremely terrible game, but we don't think it's going to be an extremely terrible game. We think it's going to be a very good game, despite these few red flags that are going on right now. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Let's talk business.
Yes.
So, the graphics, they look dated.
Yeah.
This doesn't look like a 2024 game.
2025 in a moment, holy shit, man.
Yeah,
time passes fast.
Exactly. I'd say the graphics look a bit dated. Not everything, the shadows, the lighting, ray tracing, if you will, whatever. Some things are good looking, but
I think, yes, I get what you're saying. The game looks, let's just call it what it is. The game looks a bit dated.
Yeah.
The graphics looks a bit dated, for sure. However, I think it makes up for it, like you said, with pretty modern shadow and lighting effects. And there is a lot of character to the design of the game, the art design. Yes. The art design is not boring. It's not safe as
no, not at all.
Some other games that we talked about here. It's not a baby guard, right? We just can't stop taking shots.
This seems mature.
No, it looks, yes, exactly. And you can actually create an attractive character.
Or be mean.
Female or male, yes. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much boobs and ass they allow you to have in this game. I hope they allow you. But at least the faces look normal and not like those weird faces you get in some other games lately.
Yeah, the facial animations actually convey emotions. Could you believe?
The facial animation look good. They look good. They don't look amazing, but they look good. You know, the lips are synced to the dialogue. This is not like something that is you should take for granted, let's just say that. And yeah, exactly, the characters show emotion.
Guys, what do you think about graphics? Does it bother you if the graphics are a bit dated? Does it, hurt your immersion? Or are you willing to overlook that when the story and the attention to details and the things around are compelling and, convincing? Let us know what you think.
Bro, I have a big issue. Bro. Not with the graphics. The graphics is whatever. Like you said, there's enough pluses with the whole graphical issue to make up for the bad issues. However, one of the biggest issues I have with the game, and I think you agree with me, is the UI, bro. This affects everything. It affects the combat, it affects the interface, it affects the inventory management, which seems to be absolutely nightmarish in this game.
This is where you can actually compare to Skyrim.
Yes, the UI in this game looks very, very bad. Very bad. Like, and we're being nice right now, okay? It looks really bad.
Oh, it's so cluttered. It's so cluttered.
Yes, I don't understand why in the combat there's so many like floaty stuff. Gives it a lot more like a, you know, like
It looks like Destiny.
it looks more like a World of Warcraft game, more like a
like an
MMORPG.
Yeah.
And not a single player game, which is very weird because the game again it has all the characteristics of a small scale, more intimate experience, and the combat feels like something that is more like should be on a live service game. You know, there's a juxtaposition between the small scale, more intimate experience and this weird floating numbers and bars over the enemies. You know what I'm talking about? This
Synonymous to these huge multiplayer games.
Those live service games that get shoved down.
The only way to increase the difficulty when you get to level 100 is to make such spongy enemies that all you see is numbers of hundreds of thousands running in front of your face.
Yes, exactly. And that's just the combat. Talk about the actual inventory management and the stuff like that, the stats and skill tree.
First of all, I hope the combat thing is toggleable. I have to say.
I hope yes.
They can do it easily toggleable, and I hope you can toggle that shit out.
Yes, if it's toggleable, then just forget we even talked about that part.
Anything in games that is optional is great.
Yes, I agree.
Now, you look at this UI and it's like, why do I need all this information right in front of my eyes? You see all the tiers and all the damage all the damage types and percentages and I don't know what, and why can't it be floating in a window where you put the mouse or whatever, the pointer, and let me decide how much details I want in front of my face. It's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. Yes,
Yeah.
Exactly. And let me add to that there's too much text, right? The text is again
small. They had to make it like small font because they shoved so much of it.
Yeah, and again, we're old fucks up in here, so we also talk about old fuck stuff. And part of being an old fuck, as the OF demographic knows, hate reading small text. All right, we hate having to squint our eyes when we play a game, bro. We don't want to have a fucking headache by the end of finishing the game because we're trying to read the text, all your text that you give us. On every fucking ability and every weapon and everything we do, there's it looks like a mountain of text, bro. It's ridiculous. And it's overwhelming.
I just don't understand. It's like every few years another Bethesda game comes out or Bethesda-like game comes out. And if it's moddable, like in weeks, you get like at least 3 different mods that have a much, much better UI for the game. And can they ever learn from these things? It's
I don't
not
get
that
it,
hard.
man. Not to mention, even the skill tree, man, it looks almost like mobile. Like it looks like almost like a mobile game, the skill tree. It looks, I don't know what it is, man. It seems like I wouldn't be surprised if this game also might had some early issues with the production when it comes to what direction they want to take it. Almost like it. I don't know. I don't know if that's the reason or not. I'm literally guessing right now. We didn't find anything about it in our research. But hey, let us know below. Maybe you know something we don't about that. Anyways, I think that's all we got to say about it. Other than all those issues, we actually think the game, if we want to conclude it, the game looks great overall.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, we're interested in it.
Yeah.
I'd say it's very... I don't know about that launch date, man. I don't know about that date, man.
Oh, it's so crowded. Wow.
They're putting themselves in a very, very weird position with their launch date between juggernauts. Games like
Monster Hunter
and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Yep.
Which is
also an RPG, exactly.
Yeah, in a
first-person
RPG. Even though you can play third person as well, by the way, in this game. In
both
Avowed. Can you?
Actually, I'm not sure.
Could you in the first one?
I don't remember. That's what I'm saying. I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't ever play third person, so it's not something that I would remember because I probably didn't even check.
You mean if you don't have if you have the option, you never use it?
Yeah, I'm first person hardcore.
Right.
Red Dead I played in first person.
Anyways, I think the game looks good. Overall, the combat looks more fast-paced and more fluid and more visceral than their usual combat. It doesn't look perfect, but it looks pretty good. And if you add that to the fact that their strength is usually the character building, the relationship with the characters, the lore, stuff like that, the dialogue, the choices.
Building a rich world. This is what they are good at.
having consequences to your choices. That's what they're good with. If they have half decent combat, the game is going to be great. If they have good combat, the game is going to be really, really great. Okay?
Yeah.
Other than that, bro, I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a great game. And
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I hope it will be successful. But if I were their marketing guy, I'd say delay it for a month. Just work on bug fixing and polish it.
Yeah, and
Because, my God, bro, releasing in February of 2025, risky move, man. Risky move from Obsidian. Fighting with the big boys. I mean, not that Warhorse are considered big, right? But that game is considered to be very, very anticipated for sure.
Yeah. So, guys, girls, if you liked this content, press the thumbs up. If you didn't, the other button is over there too. Subscribe if you like, we recommend it. And that's it for us. Midgame Life Crisis. I'm Werewolf.
I'm Inconsistency.
See ya.
We are out. Bye.
Bye.